17-year-old Emma Cartwright had always dreamed of adventure beyond the stars, but never did she expect to find it buried deep beneath the earth in her small, sleepy town. It all began one chilly fall afternoon when she stumbled upon a forgotten, abandoned spaceship hidden in the woods while searching for her lost dog, Max. Curiosity getting the better of her, she crawled inside the ancient, rusting hull. The ship's interior, covered in strange symbols, seemed as though it had been undisturbed for centuries. However, as she wandered deeper into the belly of the craft, she found something extraordinary: a gleaming suit of alien armor encased in a glass chamber. It was not an ordinary suit. This armor seemed alive, pulsating with energy. Before she could react, the ship began to hum, and the chamber opened, revealing the armor to her. It was sleek, metallic black with faint glowing blue lines that trailed along its edges. Emma felt an inexplicable pull toward it, as if it was calling her. Ignoring her instincts to run, she reached out and touched the armor. Instantly, the armor activated, surrounding her body in a matter of seconds. Her skin tingled as it fused to her, adapting to her shape. The helmet slid over her head, giving her enhanced vision and strength. She felt invincible, like no force on Earth or beyond could harm her. But with this power came responsibility. As she explored the capabilities of her newfound suit, she discovered a holographic message from the ship's original alien pilots. The armor was a powerful weapon, created by an ancient alien race for battle. It was designed to protect its wearer from any harm, making them nearly invincible. But there was a catch: armor also had enemies who would stop at nothing to retrieve it. Now, Emma's quiet life was shattered. Soon, interstellar bounty hunters, shadowy government agents, and alien creatures of every kind began hunting her down, seeking the powerful armor she now wore. Emma had no choice but to fight. With each battle, she uncovered more of the suit's hidden powers, from energy shields to flight, and even the ability to interface with technology and hack into systems at will. But Emma wasn't just fighting for survival. She was fighting to protect her planet from a greater threat. The armor's creators had left behind a message, warning of an impending alien invasion, of force so destructive that only someone with the armor could stand a chance of stopping it. With her newfound strength and determination, Emma realized she wasn't just a girl from a small town anymore. She was Earth's last hope. Armed with the alien suit and her indomitable spirit, Emma embarks on an intergalactic journey to discover the truth about the invasion, learning about her own inner strength and the sacrifices necessary to be a hero. But as the battle intensifies, she faces an impossible choice: will she risk everything to save humanity, or will the armor's power consume her, turning her into the very weapon it was designed to destroy? Emma Cartwright, once a girl with ordinary dreams, must now become something extraordinary, something invincible. Emma barely had time to process what she'd found before her first challenge arrived. The ship, dormant for centuries, suddenly came to life, sending a beacon into the sky. A low hum filled the air, followed by flashes of light across the alien control panel. The quiet forest around the ship was soon interrupted by a sound she had never heard before. Indeed, rumbling noise like a jet engine, but it was coming from above. Emma stepped out of the ship, her heart racing beneath the armor. The sky crackled with electricity as a massive spacecraft, much larger than the one she had discovered, descended above the trees. Its sleek, black surface gleamed against the evening sky, and without warning, a beam of light shot down, scanning the area. She barely had time to react before the trees around her splintered and shattered as three towering figures emerged from the craft. Their armor was dark and jagged, their helmets concealing their faces, and they moved with precision, weapons ready. They weren't human. Her mind raced. What do they want? But the armorer her more responded before she could. Her helmet clicked into place, then her vision shifted, highlighting the three alien intruders. A voice echoed inside her head, one that felt both familiar and alien. Threat detected. Engage defensive protocols. Emma didn't hesitate. The armor's systems flared to life, flooding her body with energy. She felt faster, stronger, more focused than she'd ever been. One of the figures raised its weapon, a long, spear-like device glowing with blue energy, and fired directly at her. Instinctively, she raised her arm, and an energy shield appeared, blocking the blast. The impact rattled through her, but she stood firm. Before she could even think about her next move, the suit responded again. With a mere thought, she leaped into the air, propelled by the armor's jets. The ground below her cracked from the force, sending debris flying. She hovered for a second, taking in her surroundings with new clarity. "Stay calm," she muttered, though her heart pounded in her chest. The aliens moved with terrifying coordination, splitting up to surround her. Emma could feel their cold, calculating eyes through their helmets. They wanted the armor and they wouldn't stop until they had it. But Emma wasn't about to let that happen. She might not fully understand the power she now wielded, but she knew one thing: the armor was hers, and she'd fight to keep it. The next few moments were a blur of movement and energy. Emma darted between the trees, her movements lightning fast. Her armor seemed to predict the aliens' attacks, dodging blasts and strikes with ease. She responded in kind, delivering powerful blows that sent the intruders crashing to the ground. The armor's built-in weapons were unlike anything she'd ever seen, firing concentrated energy blasts from her hands and even summoning shockwaves that knocked the aliens off their feet. But as strong as the armor made her feel, the aliens were relentless. One by one, they kept getting back up, adapting to her attacks. The largest of the three advanced on her, its jagged weapon slicing through the air, faster than she expected. Emma barely dodged, and the blade grazed her shoulder, sending sparks flying. Pain shot through her, but the suit quickly repaired itself, sealing the wound as if it had never happened. She needed a new plan. Emma tapped into the suit systems, trying to access more of its capabilities. The HUD in her helmet flickered, showing a map of the area and highlighting weak points in the alien armor. She zeroed in on them, focusing her attacks. The first alien fell, its suit short-circuiting, as Emma unleashed a devastating energy burst at its chest. The other two hesitated, glancing at their falling comrade. That was her opening. Summoning all the strength she could muster, Emma charged. The ground shook as she slammed into the second alien, sending it crashing into a tree. Before it could recover, she fired a concentrated blast from her palm, disabling its weapon. Only one remained. But just as Emma prepared to finish the fight, the remaining alien stopped, raising its hand as if signaling for a ceasefire. A voice, distorted and deep, echoed from its helmet. "You don't know what you're dealing with, human," the alien said, its voice cold and unfeeling. "The armor you wear was never meant for your kind." Emma's eyes narrowed behind her visor. "Then maybe your kind shouldn't have left it here." The alien tilted its head slightly. "You think this makes you invincible? You're just a child playing with fire. The real war is coming, and when it does, that armor will be your undoing." Before Emma could respond, the alien activated a device on its wrist. A portal opened behind it, swirling with dark energy. The figure stepped back into it, leaving Emma standing alone in the clearing. The two fallen aliens vanished with him. She stood there, breathing hard, her fists clenched. The adrenaline began to fade, leaving her with a heavy realization this was far from over. Whatever these aliens were after, whatever war they were talking about, she was right in the middle of it now. But Emma wasn't afraid. She looked down at her hands, still glowing faintly from the armor's power. She had never asked for this, but now that she had it, she wasn't going to let anyone take it from her. As she turned back toward the ship, ready to search for more answers, the suit's voice echoed in her mind again. "New objective, prepare for war." Emma smiled grimly. If war was coming, she would be ready. With the power of the armor coursing through her, she was no longer just a 17-year-old girl. She was something more, something invincible. Weeks had passed since Emma's first encounter with the aliens, and life had changed in ways she could never have imagined. By day, she tried to hold on to whatever normalcy she had left: school, friends, the quiet routines of small-town life. But by night, she trained. The armor became more than just a suit. It was an extension of herself, unlocking new abilities with every use, preparing her for the battle that lay ahead. The warnings from the alien she'd faced haunted her. The real war is coming, and soon enough, it did. One evening, as the sun set over the forest where Emma first found the ship, the ground trembled. Above, the sky darkened unnaturally, a massive alien warship appearing from the clouds. It was far larger and more advanced than anything Emma had seen. The entire town was cast in shadow, and the residents, oblivious to what was happening, looked up in awe and fear. Emma's heart pounded as her armor activated on instinct. She raced to the edge of town, her mind racing with questions. Was this the beginning of the invasion, and was she ready to face it? A deafening roar filled the sky as smaller alien ships descended from the warship, releasing hordes of alien soldiers onto the streets. Chaos erupted, people screamed, cars swerved off the road, and buildings shook under the weight of explosions. The aliens weren't just here for the armor, they were here to conquer. Emma stood her ground, her armored body glowing with energy. The suit had evolved with her over the past weeks, and now, she was stronger than ever. But even with all her training, the sight of the overwhelming alien force sent a chill down her spine. The suit's voice echoed in her mind, all systems online, commencing battle mode. She took a deep breath and launched herself into the fray. The streets of her town had become a battlefield. Emma darted between alien soldiers, her movements a blur as she dodged their energy blasts and retaliated with powerful strikes of her own. Each hit sent shockwaves through the air, her armor deflecting their attacks as she unleashed devastating energy bursts that took down enemies in droves. But there were too many of them. For every soldier she defeated, two more took its place. Her mind raced as she thought she couldn't win this battle alone. The suit hummed as it processed her thoughts. Then suddenly, an interface appeared before her eyes. It was a map of the town, highlighting weak points in the alien warship's defenses. She saw it clearly now. The ship was the source of their power. If she could take it down, the invasion would end. Her path was clear. With a final burst of energy, Emma leapt into the sky, flying toward the massive warship hovering above. Alien drones swarmed to intercept her, but her armor responded to every move. She weaved through them, firing precision blasts that cut them down one by one. As she neared the ship, a large energy barrier shimmered into view, blocking her path. Emma narrowed her eyes. She could feel the power of the barrier pulsing through her armor. It was strong, but so was she. Override sequence initiated, the suit's voice announced. Emma focused all her energy into her hands, feeling the suit gather power from deep within. Her hands glowed brighter and brighter until, with a scream of determination, she unleashed everything she had. The energy barrier flickered and cracked before finally shattering into a million shards of light. She crashed through the opening, landing inside the warship. The interior was dark and ominous, filled with strange, organic structures and glowing technology. In the center of the room stood the alien leader, same one from before, waiting for her. "You've come far, human," the leader said, his voice echoing in the massive chamber. "But this ends now. The armor does not belong to you. It will destroy you if you keep using it." Emma stood tall, her hands clenched into fists. "I've heard enough. The armor chose me, and I'm not giving it up." The leader raised his hand, summoning a massive, bladed weapon, "and you'll die wearing it." The final battle began. The alien leader moved with terrifying speed, his weapon slicing through the air, but Emma was faster. The suit enhanced her reflexes, predicting the leader's every move. Sparks flew as their weapons clashed, each strike more powerful than the last. But Emma wasn't fighting just for herself anymore. She was fighting for her town, for her planet, for everyone who didn't have the power to defend themselves. She tapped into the deepest reserves of the armor, unlocking its final abilities. Her body surged with energy, and her attacks became faster, stronger, unstoppable. The leader faltered, momentarily stunned by her sudden strength. It was the opening Emma needed. With a fierce shout, she unleashed a final, concentrated blast of energy, aimed directly at the warship's core. The room trembled, and the walls began to crack as the energy pulsed through the ship. The alien leader staggered back, his weapon falling from his hands as the ship's systems began to fail. "You can't win," the leader gasped, but his voice was weak now. Emma stood over him, her armor glowing with the intensity of a star. "I already have." With a final explosion, the warship's core detonated, and the ship began to collapse. Emma flew out just in time, watching as the massive structure crumbled into the atmosphere, disintegrating into nothing. As the wreckage fell, the alien soldiers on the ground retreated, their invasion failing without the ship's support. The battle was over. The town was safe. Emma landed back on the street, her armor retracting as the adrenaline began to fade. She looked around at the destruction, at the people who were slowly coming out of hiding, and felt a mixture of relief and exhaustion. She had done it. She had saved them all. But Emma knew this was only the beginning, that aliens would come again, and there would be more battles to fight. But now, she was ready. She had the power of the armor, and more importantly, she had the will to use it. As she walked through the quieting streets, she couldn't help but smile. She had become more than just a girl from a small town. She was a protector now. She was invincible. And no one, not even an army of aliens, could take that away from her.